My name is Ricky Hill, and I'm an e-recruiter and engagement specialist here at UC Merced. Tonight, you are in for quite a treat. We have an exclusive event for you tonight to talk about navigating your bill here at UC Merced. We have a panel packed with experts behind the scenes, and you will be privileged tonight to hear from one of our experts from the Student Business Services Office to talk about your bill. Before we get started, though, let me give you a couple of quick tips so that you can follow along and participate. If you need to adjust your audio settings, you can do so in the lower left corner of your screen by clicking the audio settings option and making those adjustments as you see fit. If you would like to adjust the size of your window, you can do so by clicking View Options in the upper portion of your screen. Lastly, and most importantly tonight, we would love to get your questions answered. So please take advantage of the Q&A button that you'll see at the lower portion of your screen. Go ahead and click on that button, type in your question, and send that our way. We will, as I said, have expert panelists behind the scenes responding throughout the presentation, but we also will have time for a live Q&A towards the end of this event. So definitely stick around for that as well. Like I said, we are thrilled that you could join us tonight for Student Business Services presentation about navigating your bill. At this time, it is my great honor and privilege to hand things over to my colleague, Miguel.
Thank you, Ricky, for that great introduction. Hello, everyone, and I hope you're having a great evening today. My name is Miguel Mendoza Miramontes, and I am from Student Business Services. My department handles billing, electronic funds transfer, and also we'll be talking about how to make a payment and the deferred payment plan today. Okay, we're going to continue with the presentation. So the slide we're looking at now is going to be My Bill. My Bill is the billing portal for student accounts. Students can access My Bill through their Connects portal. On the Connects portal, there will be an icon that reads My Bill. By clicking on the icon, you'll be taken to this page. The first thing we're going to be looking at here is how to authorize a parent user for our parents and guardians here today with us. So on the left-hand side of My Bill, there's going to be a tab that reads My Account. By clicking on the My Account tab, we'll be taken to the following page. An authorized user is needed to talk to Student Business Services and make payments on the student's behalf, as well as ask any questions related to the student account, as the student is protected by FERPA, the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act that's set up by the Department of Education. Students can give authorization to their parents or guardians by clicking on the Add Payer or Send a Payer an Invitation tab at the very bottom here. And when the student clicks on that, the student will then be prompted to fill out the parent or guardian's information, first name, last name, and email address. Once all the information is input into the system, the student will then click Allow Access to Statements if that's what the student would like, as well as send an invitation. Once the send invitation link has been clicked, the parent or guardian will receive an email from My Bill, which would prompt them to set up a password. Once the password has been finalized, the parent can then make payments on the student's behalf, as well as call or email Student Business Services regarding the student account. The next thing we're going to be going over is how to review the billing statement. Billing statements are generated on the first business day of every month. The last billing statement that was generated on August 2nd. To view billing statements, you would click on the Statements tab on the left-hand side, and then you'd be able to select the billing statement that was generated and view or print it. Right now, we're looking at an example of a billing statement, and this one was the one that was generated on August 2nd. On the top right-hand side, there's going to be a statement summary that will have the date that it was generated, the student ID number, previous account balance, current account balance, and balance after authorized aid. Just a friendly reminder that authorized aid will be posting to students' account on August 17th, as long as all financial aid requirements have been met. We strongly advise students to check their student checklist to ensure that all requirements have been submitted and completed. If there's still a balance after authorized aid, it'll be shown as the students who owe $7,000. If a student's authorized aid is more than enough to cover their balance, then the balance after authorized aid would be listed in either a negative sign or parentheses. When a balance after authorized aid is shown in parentheses or negative sign, it means that it's a credit balance and that we will be refunding that amount to the student. On the bottom half-hand side of the statement, you'll have the statement details, which will show all activity that was done on the student account within the previous month. And at the very bottom, it'll also show the authorized aid. So this student is receiving a Golden Bobcat grant and a Pell grant. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to be going over is the detailed account activity. The detailed account activity is updated in real time, and we strongly advise students to always check this as often as they can to ensure that they're in good standing with the university. To review the account activity, you would click on activity details on the left-hand side. When you click on that, you'll be taken to this page. This page will give you an up-to-date information on your bill. So if there was an update to the charge or any adjustment made to your account today, you would be able to see that on the student detailed account activity. Okay. At the very top, it'll show current charges, authorized aid, and then the amount due after authorized aid. Okay. The next thing we're going to be going over is how to make a payment. On the left-hand side of my bill, there's going to be a make a payment tab. Once you click on make a payment, you have the option to select a new bank account or credit or debit card. If you use a credit or debit card, there's going to be a 2.75% convenience fee added to the amount. If you're going to use a debit card, we strongly encourage that you pay with an electronic check instead, as the funds would be coming out from the same checking account, but no fee would be assessed on the electronic check. Additionally, you can pay in person at the campus cashiering office. The campus cashiering office is located in room 140 in the new administration building. They are currently open Monday through Thursday. They do take a lunch between 12:30 and 1. And lastly, you can mail in your payment as a check or a money order to the following address. If you are going to mail in your check, we strongly advise you mail it as soon as possible, as we do have to process the check before the payment deadline, which is August 18th. The next thing we're going to be going over is DPP, or the payment plan. Say your financial aid is not enough to cover your entire balance and you're not able to pay the lump sum by August 18th. We do offer a payment plan which will allow you to pay your balance after authorized aid in 4 installments. For example, say your balance after authorized aid is $4,000. We can make a payment plan for you, or you can make it yourself by going on to my bill and clicking on the payment plan tab on the left-hand side. This will then pop up, which will allow you to sign up for DPP, which will take your balance after authorized aid and break it into the 4 installments. For the example we had for the student that owes $4,000, they would owe $1,000 by August 18th, $1,000 by September 20th, $1,000 by October 20th, and $1,000 by November 22nd. To sign up for DPP, there is a $40 participation fee that is charged per semester. If a student wants to be in DPP, they have to enroll in each semester individually. Just because you sign up for DPP for the fall semester does not automatically enroll you into the spring. You would have to sign up for the spring deferred payment plan separately. These are the dates for the deferred payment plan for the fall semester. And just a reminder that the first installment and participation fee is due at the time of inscription. So if you sign up today, you would be prompted to pay for the first installment and the participation fee. Okay. The next thing we're going to be going over is electronic funds transfer, or EFT. Say your financial aid covered your entire balance and your balance after authorized aid is listed in a negative sign or in parentheses, which, as I would mention, is a credit balance. We are going to start refunding credit balances on August 17th. And we strongly encourage that you sign up for EFT or direct deposit, because it's more convenient. Your funds are directly deposited to your bank account, and it takes up to 5 business days after it's issued for it to reflect in your bank account. In comparison to if you do not have EFT, we will mail your check, which can take up to 3 weeks by USPS. To sign up for EFT, you'll click on your Connect portal and click on the icon that reads Electronic Student Refund. You will be prompted to this page. It's going to say direct deposit allocation, accounts payable deposit, but really it is electronic funds transfer or direct deposit. All you have to do is click the add new icon, and then you would be prompted to put in your bank account information. You can put a savings account or checking account. Once you put in your routing number, the system will automatically detect what banking institution is. If you put Chase Bank routing number, it'll automatically populate the bank name as JP Morgan Chase. Same with Wells Fargo or Bank of America or any other banking institution. And then you'll just type in the account number. Once all the information is inputted, you would click on the, by checking this box, I authorize the institution to initiate direct credits or debits on my behalf. At that point, you'll be able to click Save New Deposit. It does take around a day, up to 2 business days for EFT or electronic funds transfer to set up. So please allow, we definitely recommend you sign up maybe 3 or 4 days before we begin issuing refunds, just to ensure that your direct deposit is active. Okay. At this time, this is the end of my presentation. I will now be passing it over to Ricky so we can start on the Q&A portion.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miguel. What a fantastic presentation. Very thorough, step by step. Having said that, though, I know our audience or our viewers may still have some questions about the different processes that you went over, and we definitely have a huge list of questions coming in. So we're excited for that as well. Just means everyone's here to ask their questions, get things answered. And let's go ahead and just dive right in. Let me take a look and see what we have here. And let's see, actually, why don't we start off here? Lisa Perry, who's our director from Student First Center, she is joining us here. You can see her lovely face on the screen there. I'm going to toss things over to Lisa, and you can go ahead and give your announcement before we dive into questions.
Okay, great. So we understand and recognize that many students are having challenges with housing at this point. An email was sent to all students' UC Merced email account today, inviting you to a webinar that is coming up that the university will be hosting to address all of your housing questions and hopefully provide an update and much needed resources for students. I recommend that you check your email for more details. And then I also want to let people know that we also realize that billing is still a little bit clearing up right now as it relates to housing. We are almost done with it, but if you believe that you should have an on-campus housing contract and you are not seeing it on your bill yet, please call the Students First Center in the morning tomorrow so that we can just double check a couple of things with you. Our phone number is 209-228-7178. And we'll put that information in the chat for you as well. I think there were a few more questions about housing. That one clarified people who haven't seen the bill come up yet. And then same thing for the meal plan. If you've been charged housing and you haven't been charged a meal plan, double check your bill because we cleaned a lot of things up today. But if it's still not right or you still have questions, call us tomorrow morning. And it's probably better to call than to email. So that way we can take down your information and really do a thorough search for you. I think that's it. If we see more housing questions come up, we will come back to that.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Lisa, for that great information. And I went ahead and dropped in the phone number for Students First Center. And then you also, Lisa, do you want to mention what other ways people can reach you as well besides by phone? Are there other ways?
Yes, so we have an email address. It's studentsfirst@ucmerced.edu. We also have a drop-in virtual window that actually goes until 9 o'clock Monday through Thursday nights. So feel free to use that. And we have a chat feature on our website as well. I mean, we have a plethora of ways you can get a hold of us. Our normal business hours for most services are all listed on our website. But in general, it's 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday, Friday, 8:30 to 3, and then that virtual drop-in window, Monday through Thursday, 1 to 9 p.m.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. And I also went ahead and dropped in that contact page for the Student First Center website. So everything that you guys need will be there. So go ahead and take a look at that. And just a reminder as well, if you do have questions and haven't asked those yet, use that Q&A button at the lower portion of the screen. Go ahead and click that button, send in your question. And those are actually, that's exactly where we're getting these questions from, because we want to make sure that we're targeting exactly what you guys need more information on tonight. So make sure you send those in, and also keep your little eye on the chat box. Even though we're not accepting chat from you, because we are doing Q&A, we are sending out a lot of information such as links, phone numbers, other types of contact info. So make sure that you keep your eye there as well. You can also be clicking on those links throughout this event, and your browser should be opening in a separate window so that you can keep track of those even after this event is over. And speaking of this particular event, we did get a couple of questions of people asking where they can access this later. So it's a great question. We do record most, if not all, of our online web events such as this one. We will be be just doing some quick edits just to clean up the intro and the exit, anything that might be kind of a glitch, but we will get that up for you online. And that link was dropped in the chat, but we can go ahead and provide that again. But just give us a couple days to get everything cleaned up and get that up there for you. And then you can watch this back in case you miss anything, or you can share it with your friends. All right. Now that we've got all that housekeeping out of the way, let's go ahead and dive back into our questions. So I'd like to go ahead and hand this one over to Miguel from Student Business Services. So we have a couple that are around a similar theme, so I'll kind of paraphrase those. So the general question is going to be, what does a student do if they're not able to make their full payment? So maybe we can talk a little bit about deferred payment plan first.
Yeah, so if a student is not able to pay their full balance after authorized aid, we definitely recommend checking to see if they've exhausted all their financial aid options. I know sometimes students aren't always keen to use self-help aid, but self-help aid can definitely help reduce the cost and reduce the deferred payment plan balance. So definitely look into self-help aid, which would be federal loans, either the subsidized SAFR loan or the unsubsidized SAFR loan.
Perfect, thank you. And then in terms of deferred payment plan, once they sign up for that, how do they know when those payments are due and how much those will be? I think you touched a bit on that in the presentation, but you can just kind of refresh everyone.
The dates are August 18th, September 20th, October 20th, and November 22nd. You'll get a bill generated on the first business day of each month, letting you know how much your next installment will be. So that's how you'll be notified of how much to pay for the deferred payment plan on your next installment. And also at any time, once your installment plan has been created, if you go back onto My Bill and click on the payment plan tab, it'll list out your next payments as well.
Great information, thank you. So another question, is there a bank charge for the EFT, the electronic fund transfer? What bank does the university use?
So there is no fee associated with creating an EFT for direct deposit, and there is no fee for using ACH payments or wire transfer to make a payment when you're using an electronic check.
Perfect. And I know that we do have some great video tutorials that touch on all of the things that we're discussing tonight regarding the navigating your bill. So that would be something, we can drop that link in the chat as well. We have these little series of videos, mini tutorials for everyone. So it talks about things like deferred payment plan, EFT, how to get enrolled, how to make payments, things like that. So we'll make sure that we drop that into the chat for you guys to take a look at as well. So another question. This person is saying that their bill has a zero balance, and so they're wondering if that means that there's some type of an error. So I'm wondering if maybe if they haven't paid and it still says zero, what might that mean for them?
For the student, it depends. Are they not seeing any charges at all? If you're not seeing any charges, we definitely recommend you reach out to Student Business Services. Our number is 209-228-4114. That's if you're not seeing any charges at all. But if you're just seeing a zero balance, that but you're able to see charges, that probably means that your balance is going to be covered by your authorized aid, dollar for dollar.
All right, thank you for that. So the next question has to do with Calvet. So I'll read the question off here. So I qualified for Calvet and have the letter provided by the Veterans Office to prove it. Am I able to use that in conjunction with the Bobcat grant? If not, which option saves me more money? Lisa, can I toss that one to you?
Okay, so that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. And so you'll want to send that certification to us at registrar@ucmerced.edu. So send it via email. And basically what happens is when we get that information, financial aid will review your account to see which one is going to be a better fit for you and which one will last longer. So it's going to be on a case-by-case situation.
Perfect. All right. The next question, my statement is showing a negative balance for financial aid purposes. Do I need to worry about that? And that it said that they'll be refunded, but they haven't had a housing bill to pay yet. So I don't know. That's kind of a mixture, I guess, maybe of circumstances, Lisa, since you talked about some housing kind of glitches, for lack of a better word, earlier.
Yeah. So everybody's bill is going to be a little different, and things fluctuated this past week. So the place where you, first of all, I saw a question come in, somebody was late, and so they wanted to know where to see their bill. So let's just back up real quick. So in your student's account, in your Students Connect account, you're going to log in, they're going to click on My Merced, and then they click on My Bill. In the My Bill, that's where they can see their current account activity. That's where they can see their authorized aid that's expected to apply to their account. That's where they can see the detail of charges. There's all kinds of information in there. So that's where you're going to start. And then, so go to your account activity, and that's where you're going to see the most recent charges and things that have come on or gone off your bill. And that's where you should see your housing and meal plan charges. If you have an approved contract with on-campus housing and you do not see the charge for housing or a meal plan, please call us or email us tomorrow morning so that we can check your specific situation. And Ricky put the Students First Center contact information in the chat. And so please take advantage of that.
Amazing. Thank you, Lisa. So here's a quick one. How do I pay with an electronic check? Miguel, I'll toss that one to you.
Yeah, so when you click on make a payment on the left-hand side of My Bill, you'll be prompted to click on the balance for the semester. Once you click on the semester and continue your checkout, you're given two options online. One will say create new bank account, and the other one will say new debit or credit card. For electronic check, it would be the new bank account. And all you need is your banking institution's routing number and account number, and you can pay with either a savings account or checking account.
Excellent. Thank you for that. The next question, does tuition, housing, and fees, does all of that come out of our financial aid automatically, or do we receive the financial aid and then have to write a check or make some type of payment?
I can take that question as well. So as long as all your financial aid requirements have been met with the financial aid office, around August 17th, that aid will automatically apply towards your bill. So you will not receive it separately and then you're supposed to pay on your account. It just automatically applies to the account. So on your account activity details, once it does apply, it'll be listed as a new transaction. May that be your Pell Grant, your Bobcat Grant, or any of your self-help aid like your Stafford loan or Parent Plus loan.
Very good. Thank you. The next question has to do with textbooks. So are textbooks included in the semester bill, or does someone need to purchase those and pay for those separately?
I can take that question as well. So that one kind of depends. It's not going to be included in your bill right away. There's some programs that the university offers. It's called inclusive access. Some courses will automatically charge the course materials to the account on some specific courses. Other than that, if it's a textbook that is not offered through inclusive access, the student does have the option to go to the campus bookstore and charge that book to the student account. But if the student chooses not to, the student will then just pay for it out of pocket like they would on maybe Amazon or the bookstore.
Great. All right. Will we have extra money to pay for our personal things, or will all of that go through the school?
I can take that one. So that's going to be on a case-by-case basis, and that depends on how much financial aid you accepted. So if you accepted more financial aid than what your bill is for, then you'll get what's called a refund, which Miguel talked about earlier. And he recommended that you set up electronic funds transfer so that if you are expecting a refund, your refund can go directly into your bank account. And it looks like we're going back to it to show you again. But yes, that is on a case-by-case basis. So on your bill right now, if you've completed all your financial aid requirements, then your aid should show as authorized on your bill. And so you should be able to see how much aid you are expecting and how much you owe the university. And if it is a positive number, then that means that you owe us money. If it's a number in parentheses, that's a negative amount, and then we owe you money. So I recommend that everybody go into their bill tonight or log in right now so you can follow along and kind of compare what we're telling you to what you actually see.
Very good. And then the next question has to do with financial aid, and we have several of these coming in just phrased a bit differently. So again, I'll kind of paraphrase. So the first part of it is, when will students be seeing financial aid hit their bill? And if they haven't seen that yet, is there something that they should be doing to check up on that?
Yeah, I can take that one too. So financial aid should be showing as authorized right now if you have completed all your financial aid requirements. Financial aid requirements are listed in your checklist, which is also in your Connect account. If you have not completed your financial aid requirements, then your aid cannot authorize. Authorized aid will actually apply to your bill on the 15th or 16th is our goal. And then bills are due on the 18th.
Great job. All right, so the next one, it has a little bit to do with meal plans. So someone is asking, with the UC Merced meal plans, is it considered unlimited food that they can eat or only a certain amount each week?
So there's different plans. So everybody gets basically an unlimited access to the dining commons. So on the meal plan website, if you scroll down a little bit, this is kind of what you see. And everybody gets unlimited access to the dining commons. But what differs from plan to plan is the number of guest passes that you get and the number of CAT dollars that you get. So the meal plan portion that you eat in the actual dining commons, my understanding is that everybody's is pretty much the same because it's unlimited, but the prices differ on CAT dollars or guest passes. And CAT dollars are money that you can spend at other places to eat on campus. So sometimes we have food trucks there. We have different cafes on campus. There's a couple of local restaurants that have spots on campus. And so your CAT dollars can work at those locations. And then the guest passes are for like if your parents come to visit you and you wanted to take them out to eat in the dining commons so they can see what it's like where you eat and live, that's what the guest passes are for. So that's really the difference in the meal plans. And we put the link in the chat so that you can go and kind of compare what you've purchased to what you're actually getting.
Excellent, thank you. So the next question is again back to the bill with the payments and specifically DPP. It sounds like this person may have already enrolled in DPP, but they're wondering if they have to actually wait to make those other installment payments, or can they just make all those at once, or just kind of, more than one payment at a time?
Okay, I'll take that one. So what happens is if you are in the deferred payment plan and you want to just pay your plan in full, you definitely can. Or say you want to pay a portion, say your remaining 3 installments total $1,500 and you pay $300 before your second installment. That $300 will just reduce the upcoming installment. So that's kind of how it works. It also depends if you pay after the payment deadline, it can then reduce the remaining 3 installments. It just depends on the timing. But if a student ever has a question about their active deferred payment plan, definitely call Student Business Services and we can help them with their questions.
Very good, thank you. All right, this one jumps back over to financial aid. So if a person has accepted their offer for their subsidized loan, around what time should they be expecting their funds to be dispersed?
So all financial aid, pending that you've completed all your requirements, the expected disbursement or seeing it actually apply to your bill is around the 15th or 16th of August. If you have not completed your financial aid requirements, it will not pay out at that time. So make sure you're checking your checklist and completing those requirements and contacting us if you have questions or need help.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. So this one is coming from a parent specifically, but we're seeing a couple of these. So we might have a group of parents out there watching. So hello to all of our Bobcat parents. All right. So this question is talking about how to accept financial aid. This particular person is asking, how do they accept the financial aid so they can make sure that they can help their student get their bill paid on time?
So you'll need to work with your student on this. I recommend that you all, if you're sitting together right now, go into the Students Connect account, go to the My Merced portion, and then go to the My Financial Aid icon. In the section that says Accept Decline Awards, that's where you can see what has been accepted and what is still an offered status. Anything that you've accepted should be authorized to your bill at this point if you have completed the requirements. If you log in tonight and accept a loan, In about 15 minutes or a little bit shorter sometimes, new requirements will show up on the checklist that are related to accepting those loans. So if you decide to make those choices tonight, make sure that you go back, refresh the checklist, and start clicking on the loan requirements. I can put a link in chat for where you find kind of the step-by-step instructions for the loans. The types of loans students have been offered are going to vary from student to student. So make sure that you're reading the name of the loan that has been offered to your student and then clicking on the correct link on this web page that I'm going to post.
Perfect. Thanks, Lisa. And so the next question, someone is asking again, we've seen this one a couple times. So people are asking if the fees that they're seeing, is that for both semesters for the full academic year, or is it just for the fall?
Hi, Ricky. So the current fees will just be for the fall semester. The university charges fees on a semester basis. So fall semester, spring semester, and summer semester are all charged separately.
Very good. Thank you. And this one again jumps back over to financial aid, kind of a leapfrog back and forth tonight. So how does a student go about accepting their Cal Grant?
So Cal Grant should be automatically accepted. All grants and scholarships we automatically accept for students. It's primarily loans that you need to make a decision on whether you want to accept or decline or leave an offered status in case you want to make that decision later. If you think that you are missing a Cal Grant, number one, I recommend that you log into your Web Grants for Student account to make sure that UC Merced is listed as the school that will be receiving your Cal Grant. Once you confirm that, if you don't see it in your My Financial Aid as an award, then contact the Students First Center tomorrow so that we can look into that for you. Perfect. And then one other kind of common thread that I see coming in about financial aid is that financial aid that you have accepted and completed all the requirements for will automatically apply to your bill. There's nothing that you need to do to say, I want my loan to pay my fees. We are automatically going to apply grants, loans, and scholarships to your bill. So again, that should be showing up as authorized aid right now for anything you have accepted and completed all the requirements for.
Fantastic. All right. If they have a zero balance and they still have financial aid coming, will that then be refunded to them, or does the school kind of keep that for them to use for other things? Or will they just get everything that's a financial aid once their bill is to zero? Will they get a refund of what's left from financial aid?
Yes, so on the balance after authorized aid or total due, if it's in negative or parentheses, that's a credit balance and the funds are going to be then refunded. If it's just zero, that means that the account has a zero balance, up to date, and no refund will be issued, but also no balance is due.
Perfect.
Unless again they're expecting maybe an additional scholarship from a outside agency and it just hasn't arrived to the university yet.
Perfect. I think that answered it. And then just a follow-up that came into my head from that one, from what you said, hopefully this helps everybody. So if they have a zero balance and then they get that refund, is that money then, do we track that? Or once they get a refund, they can use that for whatever expenses they have? So if they have to pay rent or they need food, if they're living off campus, any expenses they have, we don't track their refund.
Car maintenance, gasoline, transportation, miscellaneous,
toothpaste.
Yeah, essentials.
Perfect. So I hope that that little bit of extra explanation helped that other student that had written in a couple times. If not, send us another question. We'll see if we can get to it. All right, so let's go on here to the next one that's come through, and it's been pretty popular. So if someone says that they have a triple dorm and it says that they have to pay $6,000, does that mean that they have to pay $6,000, or does that $6,000 bill get divided between that person and their roommates, or is that just their portion?
That would just be the student's portion. So it's $6,000 for the triple. You can also look at the rates on the housing website. It'll give you a breakdown between a double and triple.
Very good. Thank you for that. Okay, what does it mean by the words current account balance?
That means that the charges are still new, so it's current. The only times that wording would change is if a student missed a payment, then it becomes past due, but current due means current charges that were recently added to the account within a month.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And let's see. Okay, so this one, I haven't heard this one before. So under my bill, I have two statements. One is from August 2nd, but the other one is from July 14th. I'm not sure what the July 14th one is for. Is there something that they need to pay, or should they just ignore the older one?
So we did what we call a special billing statement. We generated a billing statement on July 14th for students who are already registered for incoming students to give them an idea of what their fees would be. But then we generated a new billing statement on August 2nd, which is more up to date. But again, as mentioned in the presentation, we always advise that you check the activity details tab instead, since that one will be the most active representation of your student account.
Perfect. And when will grants and scholarships kick in to start covering the bill, or has that already happened?
Currently, they're authorized as long as the student has met the requirements, but they will not post to the student account. I believe Lisa said either August 15th or 16th. They're aiming for those days.
Perfect. And then if someone accepts a loan, say between now and the next couple of days, will it be processed and funded basically quick enough to pay towards that August 18th bill?
It depends, because they would have to do the loan requirements, which are the master promissory note and the entrance counseling. And it does take up to 3 to 5 business days for the Department of Education to send those files over to the UC Merced's financial aid office. So if a student hasn't accepted their loans and they're really hoping to have them for the August 18th, I strongly recommend doing it either today or tomorrow, since it can take up to those 5 business days.
So if you remember one of a few things from this event, everybody, if you have loans that you need to accept, get in there ASAP, check out your checklist, make sure that you have all those requirements met to make sure those things get funded in time, and just keep monitoring that. And I think you probably have gotten this trend by now, either on former webinars or definitely on this one. Definitely, if you have questions or you're wondering the status or where things are going, contact the Student First Center. At least I'm just going to provide more work for all of your staff. But go ahead and reach out to them. They are a great service. They will let you know by looking at your financial aid and at your bill and what's where, and if there's anything that's still outstanding or if it's in pending status, they'll be able to help you understand what all of that means. So definitely don't sit back and just think it might happen. It's always better to try and give a call or chat or an email, stop by, whatever you're most convenient or most comfortable with, just to get those questions answered. So let's see what else we have coming in here. And will the fees be the same for both semesters?
So relatively, yes. Things could fluctuate a little. Everybody's situation is going to be a tiny bit different. Some courses you take may have course material fees associated with it. So if you take a course in fall that has a course material fee, and then you don't take a course in spring that has a course material fee, that could be a fluctuation in your bill. But in general, yes, the fees in your financial aid are pretty much divided in half, because we want you to be prepared for both semesters, but there can be small fluctuations depending on your courses and any deposits you may have paid ahead of time this fall semester that you won't be paying in the spring. The other small fluctuation is if you use the UC Merced health insurance. The health insurance is a little more expensive in the spring, but that's because you get coverage for both the spring and the summer in that one-time charge, whereas in the fall, you're just paying for the fall semester.
Perfect. All right, so the next question has to do with housing and move-in. So this person is asking us that on the day that they are scheduled to move into their dorm, will their parents be able to hang out with them and spend the night?
So that's going to be a case-by-case situation, because you're going to have roommates in your dorm. And so you don't want to have a lot of guests in your dorm the first night for not telling roommates ahead of time. But there will be opportunities for you to hang out with your family throughout the day. It doesn't mean they can't get a hotel in Merced and stay in Merced that night, and you guys could go out to dinner together. But having them actually stay in your dorm room might not be the best choice for that first night, just because you want to be considerate of roommates that you haven't really met yet. And there might not be a lot of room for everyone to stay in that small space together. Also, housing will be sending out more details about move-in as we get closer. They have sent some of it. They have a very helpful website that has a lot of information and details about move-in as well. So I recommend that you read your UC Merced email regularly, and that you kind of browse their website for additional resources.
Perfect. And then this one goes back to more of a meal plan type question. Someone's asking if there's a benefit in using CAT dollars instead of using cash on campus.
I wouldn't say there's a difference in benefits. It just depends if a student already, exhausted all their CAT dollar funds, or vice versa. CAT dollars are accepted everywhere on campus. As Lisa mentioned, they can be used on the different dining facilities or at the convenience stores. Same goes for cash or a card. So I don't really think there's a benefit from using one or the other. It just depends on what funds the student wants to use.
Very good. And Lisa, I'll send this one over to you. I think you might have some info on this. How does a student fulfill the UC Merced Health Check Daily check-in?
Yes. So we are very familiar with that right now. We've been doing it for a while. You get an email. And so every morning on my phone, I go to my email and it asks you a bunch of questions. Like, do you have any symptoms? Have you been exposed to anybody? And then you answer yes or no. And then it gives you a response back. There is also another option on there. So like if you don't have classes one day and you're not going to be on campus that day, then you can click the box that says not scheduled to be on campus that day. And so that's another way to fulfill it. So there's 3 options in that email that you will get every single day. It is, yes, you have symptoms or have been exposed. No, you don't have symptoms, haven't been exposed, or not scheduled to be on site that day. And then you get an email response back.
Great question, great response. Thank you. All right. And then what is the policy with students having cars on campus?
So that depends on your year in school. It is all online. So the website is TAPS, which stands for Transportation and Parking Services, .ucmerced.edu. And what I did here is under permits, I went to students, and then you select which type of student you are to find the right policy that applies to you. In general, if you are a first-year student and you're living on campus, you will not be allowed to bring a car to campus, but there is an appeal process, and it's also on this page. And so you want to read through and follow those instructions.
Perfect. Thanks, Lisa. All right. And then I just went ahead and dropped into the chat. There's a link on the Student First Center website where they have great tutorials available. And specifically surrounding this topic, we just recently posted a series for navigating your bill. I'm trying to go through these quickly on the question list here, since we do have so many and we're getting closer to the end of our session. And so I want to make sure we get as much resources or as many resources out there as we can. So there is a link there. Go ahead and hop over to the website. It'll touch on everything to how to make a payment, authorize users, enrolling in DPP, enrolling in EFT, which is the electronic fund transfer. So definitely bookmark that page in case you do need some step-by-step tutorial, a little bit of assistance there. Like I said, we're getting lots of those questions, so hopefully that will help address many of those. So someone is asking if they are a first-year student and they want to accept or have accepted their work study, but they don't have a job yet. How does that work? They're wondering basically, does that money just go straight to the bill?
Got it. Okay, so no, your work study will not go straight to your bill. Work study is funds that will come to you in the form of your paycheck once you have been hired and start working. So that money isn't necessarily going to be available to you to help pay your bill up front, but it will be available to help pay for personal expenses throughout the year. And there are lots of people hiring right now. So if you are interested in a job, you need to go on to our Handshake website, which if somebody could put that in chat, that would be awesome. Create your account and start applying for jobs. I will let you know that We are currently hiring, so I know we have jobs posted, and I've heard from many other departments on campus that they are also looking for student employees. So there are lots of opportunities out there.
Perfect. Thank you for that one. And now the next question has to do with the health insurance waiver. So do students have to apply for that every semester, or is it just once a year?
So the health insurance waiver, if it's waived in the fall semester, it will waive it for both academic terms. It'll waive it for the fall semester and the spring semester. However, if a student missed the fall insurance waiver time period and it closed and they were charged for the fall health insurance, they can no longer get it waived for the fall, but they can still get it waived for the spring.
Very good. Thank you for that. And let's see, this one also has to do with meal plans. They're wondering, when do the meal plans officially begin? So basically, what's the first day they can get a meal, or do they need to be stocking up on food for a couple days?
Nope. The day you move in, your CAT card will work. And my understanding is that CAT cards will be handed out at move-in. So I saw a couple of those questions come in as well. We can drop the link to CAT card in the chat if somebody could do that. If anybody has questions about taking their photo, uploading their photo, please direct those to the CAT card office.
Perfect. And follow up to the health insurance waiver. What if someone already has their health insurance? That was the question. What do they do? So maybe if they haven't done the waiver yet, is there still time?
If they haven't done the waiver for the fall semester, unfortunately, the late waiver period has also closed. So the student will be responsible for paying for the fall health insurance, but they can still waive out for the spring semester. Spring health insurance waivers will probably open up around November, early December.
Very good, thank you. Now this one has to do with the COVID testing. So a student, it looks like this person may be moving in to live on campus. So they're asking, prior to move-in, should they be getting tested outside of campus before they actually arrive? Or do we offer testing on campus for them that will be quick enough for them to get hopefully a negative response?
So we do offer testing on site, but I believe the instructions that everybody was sent, if you're living on campus, is that you were supposed to get a test before you arrive, and then another one when you get on site. Carol, I know you're not on video tonight, but I know you know the answer to this. Would you mind correcting me if I'm wrong? If she's there.
Sure, no problem. Sorry about that. I do know that you are supposed to get one when you are arriving on site. So you should have received that email that kind of gave you your room assignment and all that good information. And you do need to set an appointment for that day to get that COVID test.
Excellent. Thanks, Carol. And welcome, by the way.
You're welcome.
Thanks for your work behind the scenes. All right, everybody, we are getting closer to wrapping up. Let's see what other burning questions we have here that we haven't already addressed as I'm skipping through. Let's see. Will CAT card IDs be mailed to the students, or will they be getting those the day that they move in? I think you touched on that, Lisa, but I'm not remembering the response.
Yes, my understanding is that you will be picking them up at move-in. Details should be coming out, but that is my understanding.
Perfect. Can I apply for student parking if I'm a new transfer student and living on campus?
Yes, transfer students can. It's first years that can't. I see a lot of questions coming in about textbooks. You do have to take action on your textbooks. So we do not automatically assume you're going to be buying textbooks from the university. So what you need to do is go onto our campus store. If you log in, it knows who you are and it will tell you the textbooks that are required for your courses. And so what you can do is do some shopping around. You can look at what the cost is and the prices on our UC Merced website. There's options. You can do, you can borrow books, you can buy used, you can buy new. Some people choose to shop on other sites. So there are options out there. So I recommend that you start exploring your course textbooks that are needed.
Fantastic. Thanks, Lisa. And then there's another question regarding meals. And so are students able to get meals on the weekends? So with their meal plan, or if they just happen to be on campus, are they able to get their food on campus, or do they need to go elsewhere?
Yeah, food is available on the weekends. They have different hours, but there is food definitely available on the weekends. That's where you live, so we want to make sure that you can eat.
Definitely. Okay, let's see. Oh, and also anyone else that is joining the students on move-in day, do they also have to be COVID negative tested?
Ooh, very good question. So there is that housing webinar coming up. If you have questions about move-in, if you are affected by something going on in the community, if you have questions about preparation for move-in, the health and safety check, I highly recommend you come to that webinar because we will address all those questions. And everybody got an email today in their UCM email account with the details about the webinar.
Perfect. And I think with that, we will go ahead and come to a close. I will give both of our great panelists here who have been on screen with me during this event. I'll give you guys a second. If there's any last minute tip, trick, a piece of advice that you'd like to leave with people before we wrap tonight. Lisa, I'll let you go first.
Okay, I was gonna say, Miguel, you wanna go first, but I'll go. Okay, so like Ricky said, if you have questions, call us sooner rather than later. We are here to help. We do know that it is a busy time of year, so you might have a little bit of a wait time. If you have to leave a voicemail, that's fine. We return all the voicemails. We're working as quickly as we can to support all of you, get you all the help you need. We are a very dedicated team to helping you and getting you the support you need. I'll also put a plug out there for social media. So we have lots of social media. We recommend Rufus Bobcat as your social media. Cheryl, if you want to drop that link into chat, that would be great. Rufus has Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Rufus knows all the things. So he will remind you of dates and deadlines and fun things on campus. So if you're a social media person, I recommend that you follow him. And then use your Connect account and make sure your checklist is done. So your checklist is all the required items. If you have something on there that is in yellow triangle status, that means we have it and we're working as quickly as we can to review it. So don't worry about that item. But if you have something that's in a red X status, you need to be getting that done like ASAP. And if you need help with it, call us.
Great tips and tricks, Lisa, and I will toss it over to Miguel before I say my farewell tonight.
Thank you, Ricky. So I want to say that if you are a parent or guardian and you're with us today, sit down with your student, look at the bill. If there's a balance after authorized aid, and you may want to look at the other options such as loans. And if loans are going to be considered, we definitely recommend you accept and do the requirements as soon as possible because it can take up to 5 business days for the Department of Education to process those loans. Secondly, we do have those how-to videos that our great staff members behind the scenes posted. So if you ever need a reminder of how to sign up for EFT, make a payment, or the deferred payment plan, the videos are all out there. And lastly, we do respond to all emails and calls. So if you need assistance, please call SBS at 209-228-4114 or email us at sbs@ucmerced.edu. And we do also assist parents and students in Spanish.
Fantastic. So much great information packed into one little tiny hour. So thank you guys so much for joining us, being our expert panelists on screen, smiling faces for everyone to see, as well as everyone that was behind the scenes with us. There were so many experts behind the scenes too, their little fingers just typing away. So definitely appreciate everyone's participation, both staff and attendees tonight. And speaking of that, it's a great honor that everyone just joins us. We had a huge attendance, tons of questions coming in. So we really do appreciate you all taking time out this evening to spend some time, ask those important questions, and hopefully we were able to get to the majority of those. As echoed by both of my colleagues here, please reach out if you do have any questions that we didn't get to, or maybe something else comes to mind. All those wonderful resources that were posted in chat are always available. Social media, you can always post comments or send direct messages to Rufus, to admissions. We literally are reachable 24 hours a day in one form or another. It has been my great pleasure tonight to be your moderator for this great event. stay tuned. We have so many more planned for you, so much more fun coming up in the fall 2021 semester. So definitely keep looking at those websites. I did drop the one into the chat that will be showing you other events that are coming up as we get those scheduled, as well as replays to previous events, including this one in just a couple days. So make sure you take a look there if you'd like a replay. Also, my quick tip, just to remind everyone, make sure that you are checking your UC Merced email account. So up until now, we may have also been sending you things to your personal email, but you are so close to becoming an official Bobcat and walking onto our great campus. So make sure you are officially using UC Merced as your main email contact. Otherwise, you may miss out on some important dates, deadlines, information. And one of those things that you may be hearing about, as we've mentioned a few times tonight, is the upcoming town hall that is happening this Thursday night. So if you haven't already checked your email, take a look there. You will be getting an invitation with a personalized link there to join us for a Zoom event just like this one. You will likely see me there welcoming you to that as well. So we definitely hope to see you there. Thank you once again so much for joining us. Have a great night, everyone.